not done one of these in a while, and we're back with an amazing artist. Welcome, Johnathan Hall. How you doing today, bro?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing well, bro. Good to see you. Good to be here, bro.
Yes, sir.
I just want to jump right in, bro. Tell me about, because I already know. Well, no, actually, I don't, which is the whole point of the interview. I really do want to learn a lot about your artistic background and what inspires you, because I feel like you're someone who is not only actively, as you said on the intro to Dark Days, your project, on the way to mastery. I feel like you're constantly pushing yourself on the way to mastery, and you find ways of challenging yourself even when you get good at something. And I think that's a trait that a lot of people maybe overlook when they're in the process of like actually learning a skill or even like bettering themselves in general. But where I actually want to start at is, can you tell me about your background in accounting and what inspired you to take that route?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
And accounting. So I've always been like a math-sided brain type of person.
Yeah.
Just have always like been good at puzzles and just solving math problems and thinking things with like a math type of perspective. So I did the military, the Marine Corps, and school became free. I was like, what do I want to do? What am I good at? What am I passionate about? And what would provide for a family? And it's like accounting definitely would, so I've heard. So it's like, I'm good at math, might as well give that a try. And it wasn't easy. It was a lot more reading than I expected, but got it done. So yeah, I've always just liked math, I guess, and numbers.
But no, I think that's interesting. I'm still gonna come back to the lane that you just gave us, but and this is something that I've only recently started to think about, because I've actually I thought for a long time that I've been really bad at math.
Mm-hmm.
Although like things like multiplication tables, I found that I really enjoyed learning them, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's so interesting that you say you always love math, because music is math. Like, on the side of like where you're thinking about the math and where you're actually like applying it, it is math. Like, it is pure math. And it's so interesting that you like math and were drawn to something that also the basis of it, the underlying thing, and it has to do with math.
Mm-hmm.
When you were doing the accounting, do you remember like when it started to become like you could recall what it is that you were learning, like where the reading wasn't it started to become routine, like you were refreshing knowledge or like coming up on stuff or even having thoughts outside of like where it was just like no real, or wherever your knowledge base was at the time, not to assume, because you also said you've always liked math, so like where your knowledge base was to where it went from. Do you remember like any of the feelings or the process around that time?
Yeah, so going into it, I knew nothing about accounting or like what the requirements were to become a CPA.
Right.
And then just jump right into it and just started learning all the terminology and all the different things that accountants have to do as far as like bank statements and things of that nature. So I had no knowledge beforehand, and then started taking these classes and learned things for the first time in those classes, and some of it I retained, some of it I haven't. It's really like you have to, just like anything, like practice it and keep reading it to stay on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
No, that's fair. Like linking back into music to your point, because I feel like that's something you're playing of the piano, how long have you been playing the piano? Because I feel like that's something that, whether you take formal instruction or whether you're just like I'm self-taught or whatever, you have to spend time like actually like you're literally building a relationship with the instrument. Like how what is that like? Because that's this to me that's like kind of the same process like of maybe learning something for the first time or figuring out something for the first time and then practicing it till you can replicate it and then build on and around that skill.
So I've been playing piano as long as I can remember. Like probably started like 3 or 4. You had a little keyboard. Actually, still have it in the garage. And it had like all these different songs, probably like 100 songs on it. But popular songs that people play on the piano or whatever. And I still remember being like super young and just hearing Mozart. Like my parents used to do that a lot, Mozart and jazz. And so like I always just gravitated towards the piano and just loved it and would sit there and listen to the song and like one note at a time just learn how to simple songs like when I was at that age like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and stuff like that but yeah just one note at a time just hear it out and be able to learn songs like that. And then I think when I was in like probably 9th or 10th grade took piano lessons for a few months and actually learned how to like read music and learned the technical side of the piano and that helped a lot and like me learning the instrument and yeah I've always loved it. There's just certain songs that when you hear them it just makes you feel a certain way, can make you feel whoever composed it what they were feeling and bring back like certain memories. So I try to spend more time on it now and on that road to mastery, you know, the 10,000 hours.
Right.
Trying to get there.
No, I think they're doing that. You know, it's funny too. Apparently, and like always do your own research. But apparently, Malcolm Gladwell actually never said that about the 10,000 hour thing being like the precursor to that in the way that like not like you have to have 10,000 hours to obtain mastery. Just that he had noticed that a lot of people who had attained mastery had put 10,000 hours in. So apparently, like it was like the media took that quote and then spun it off because I think a lot like when we say mastery, like what are we basing those characteristics off of? Like is it the person's skill with the medium, like the instrument or the field that they're in, or is it like their ability to connect with people, or is it their innovation? Is it like because like in that case you have masters like across the board, like and it's like it's so interesting because the moment that you start to practice anything, you already are on the road to mastery. You might never practice that thing to the point of what we would call mastery, but just by interacting with it, you go in that path kind of way. I want to know, like, so is that what drew you to music? Was it the ability to recall those emotions or to bring up feelings or to connect with people in that way, even without the use of? Because that's the crazy thing about like orchestral music and instrumental music in general. Like, it doesn't need words. It's still also I can still cry, I can still feel joy, I can still if there's another emotion maybe even pick up on that, and it's like there's no words being said but I'm understanding,
right?
You know, so is that like phenomena what like partially drew you? Was that like something you noticed early in life? Like what was
I guess so, yeah. Like it definitely drew me, and like my parents, they just were always playing music, either in the car, throughout the house. A lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and a lot of jazz, like I said, a lot of classical, a big variety. My dad, he was a DJ back in like the 80s, so he had a huge collection of vinyl records, and we had a record player, and those would just be on rotation. Um, and music just is such a beautiful thing. Like, it just gets your body moving. It just makes you feel a certain type of way, and especially like old music that you grew up listening to. And as far as like what influenced me to want to start creating music, I think I made like posted my first instrumental on SoundCloud when I was like 16 or something. And at the time, it was just, I had a friend who had the technology to do it,
Yeah.
and it was something to do, so we did it. And it was always just fun, being able to take something from your mind and then put it into the real world. It's like, it's dope.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. No, I feel like literally that it's so easy to take it for granted, but the idea that like the idea that an idea in your head could become something concrete. Like it's in my head, I'm humming it, I'm singing it, if it's like music, or I'm thinking about it and I say, wait, what if I record this, or what if I even just tap it out, or what if, because even the moment you like tap it out or you go to write it out or something, like you're bringing it closer to being like, and that's so interesting. Like do you, what's that process like for you? The process of something going from an idea to a physical creation in whatever form you decide to, whether it's finished in the moment, unfinished. Like, is that a joyous process for you? Like, do you always like enjoy that process? Is it like, I wish this idea would come faster, I wish this thing would get created faster, or is it like the which is a place that I'm starting to get to, but I won't say I'm there yet fully, but I'm working on it. You're like, oh no, I know I'm gonna do it, or I know it's gonna happen even if I don't see it. So all is, if I keep on the path, kind of like with the same idea of mastery, if I keep on the path, at some point the idea will just get hit, like it'll hit, and I'll be able to experience it, or at least it'll happen even if I don't experience it physically. Like,
For me, the process, if I get an idea and let's say it's something on the piano, like a certain melody or something, I'll just go and play it, and if I like it, keep going. If I really like it, record it. And with like songs, like rap songs and stuff, a lot of times they're just being made like in that moment, so I'm not going in with the idea beforehand that I want to lay down. Sometimes I have an idea beforehand, and sometimes, most of the time, it's just I'll be listening to beats and then ideas will just start flowing from there. And I enjoy the process, and always just taking everything about it as a learning opportunity. Like, it's all still new to me as far as creating music goes. So every time I'm with somebody, trying to make a song, I'm just taking in everything as I'm just trying to learn, just trying to get better.
right.
And I enjoy that, like learning. I love to learn, and I know as far as like when it's done, I just will have listened to it a few times, and if I feel like there's not anything more I could add or anything more that needs to be taken, then I feel like it's done. It's good. I never try to overthink too much on a song and try to be like a perfectionist. I just create it, and if I like it, I feel like it's good.
Yeah.
like yeah. So
That's a superpower.
what about you though?
Me?
Yeah.
Bro. So see, what I'm working away from now, I started out like just so happy to be able to like record music. You know what I mean? I started making music in like 2014. But before that, before like we were really in the studio, and then after that, I would just voice record on the phone a lot, just voice record. After I found the voice recorder, I was like, oh, I can just write ideas or whatever. So I got really into that. And then when we started going to the studio, my verses used to be like so long, they'd be like, you gotta cut it. Like it'd be like a 48, a 30, a 64 or something. I just keep going, and it wasn't even like the things that I was saying or like what I was rapping about. Like it was way more anime. It was way more like just like finding out what I like to do, right? So I started out in a very like whimsical place, and then over time I became a perfectionist, and I was like, oh, this melody has to perfectly hit right here. So sometimes I would end up spending months, man, even sometimes years on songs, like one song, because it's like I keep going back to, I'm like, oh, I don't hit that high note perfectly yet. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to record it or I'm not going to release it till I can hit that high note. And I would practice, but I would practice. I would, like I was saying, like with the whole freestyle thing, I would go and practice high notes for like a year or some months, and I'd go specifically look up like artists I already knew who sang really great high notes, and then I would practice like singing whatever, like even songs like, you know, you got Sade and you got like Bill Withers, and like even sustaining notes and stuff like that, like especially like Bill Withers or like Bobby Caldwell and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Just like I would just go find artists and I would just sing their songs over and over and over and over and over again. I'd be like, I'm gonna get it, because that was like the same thing for me. Like to your point about accounting, like that was my being shown something for the first time, because it would get to the point, and coming back to talking about recording it, like it would get to the point where people would be like, oh, that thing that you did, and I've talked about this actually in like other. People would tell me I was doing things that I wasn't conscious of doing. They would give me like, oh, this is the technical musical term for what you just did. And I would just look at them because I didn't know what they were talking about. And they're like, you don't know what that is? And I was like, no, I just know how to do it. And it was because I just literally studied other people who knew, or even if they didn't, you know what I mean? So I literally learned by being shown the first time. And then, as we said, going back and then reviewing the information and just being like, and maybe not every day, like I might, because it's like, that's the beauty about habit, like being able to carry things around. You know, after a while you just remember the song, and then like if you're just out randomly and you just hear the song, then it just like you know, when you're out and like you hear a song you really have like an emotional connection to, and it just starts playing in your head. Like it's not even like you're not even necessarily consciously singing along to it. Like it's already just playing in your head, and you can join in or you can like let it do its thing or like whatever. But like it would be like moments like that. So what I've been recently working on, going back to like voice recordings and stuff, and that's why I really love freestyle. I've been getting back to a place where it's like, okay, I can just do something and let it go, because it's like the idea of like I really love the idea of just being able to create, like being able to create and not thinking like, if it is a rap song or if it is a song in general or music or even just any idea, oh that thing fell perfectly there, or that was the perfect timing in the perfect pocket, that thing I did there landed and it was beautiful, and it like that's great, and I do love making music like that. But I also like when it's just like, yo, okay, I could replicate this, but it'll never be this again. Like there's one moment that got captured, and that's what I get out of freestyle. Like it's just like this ability to literally live in this moment. And then sure, if I decide to put it out and make a song of it and market it, cool. But it was also like I literally got to like, I wasn't in my body. I was just like in this song. I was literally in this song, and I was, yeah, sure, I was saying words, but I just felt like I was playing an instrument. I was an instrument in the song. And then I got to like have my turn, and then someone else went, and they did whatever, you know what I mean? So like that's where I've been getting to like fully answer in summary. It started out really whimsical, really like, oh, I love this. Got really perfectionist and really like, oh, I can't release something until it sounds the way I think it should sound. And then have been finding myself in a place now of like, I can just make something, put it out. And I feel like you do that so well. Like it's actually like John and I, Supernova, like John, like, yo, we were talking about this.
Shout out to Nova.
Shout out to Nova, bro. Shout out to Nova, bro. We were talking about how you'll just like, it was the project that you had put out. You didn't call it Hot Boy Johnny, but it was the first mixtape that I heard from you. It was the first project.
Summer 26, I think.
Yes.
Summer 27 or something.
Yes. that project, I'm listening to it the whole time and I'm like, no, he's just rapping. Like he's just literally in the moment, like, no, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'd like to say. Oh, this goes here, this is where I'm gonna put it anyway. Like, and that's like an ability that I feel like, and that's why I say no, it really is a superpower, because I feel like even in that mindset of having felt like, and I don't know, I imagine that people who are probably more, I guess if you want to do comparisons, there's someone who's more perfectionist in every, like, you know what I mean? We're just talking about the basic feeling of that. When you're living in this like sphere of like everything has to be perfect, like it's not that that stuff isn't possible, but even then it becomes so easy to like discredit or dismiss it, like because you're like, oh no, it doesn't, or you have this idea of like what it should sound like, but it's like no, the act of creating one is the most important thing. The fact that you're creating, that's what the joy is coming from. That's what the feeling of like the excitement. That's what the exhilaration is. And the fact that you can find yourself so free in that moment that you feel so comfortable to just be like, no, this is what I want it to sound like, or this is what I did, and it sounds like this, and I'm happy with that. I like with that. That's actually a superpower. Like because in perfectionist, you can lose that, or it's just like it could sound amazing, and you're literally like, no, it's still not good, and I've done that. So I feel like when I listen, and even like listening to like talking about your piano compositions as well, that ability to just literally play into it, because you can always go back and air quotes improve a piece. Like you can always, this is like a thing in the poet community too. A piece is never finished. Like you can always go back and rewrite a poem or edit it or cut it down or like take certain lines out. Like there's so many different ways to do that. Same thing with music. But the ability to once again literally just say this is what I did and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with what I did, and I can just go forward with that. Like even in life, that's like such a huge thing. And I feel like in life and in music, so many people get caught up on, oh, it's not the way I think it should be yet, so I can't even see it the way that it is right now, or I can't appreciate it for what it is. And in that, they lock themselves off from that place of like where you're just free, you're just having fun, like in life and even in music.
I think there's beauty in the imperfection, and that's like what music to me is all about, is the freedom of it. Like now that we have these computers, there's a technical side to it, or even before computers, like there's a technical side to music, like count and all this, and you have to be on tempo and all that. Like there is that, but there's also a side where there was just people just playing. Like before there was classes you could take to learn about this instrument, people were just playing this instrument. And same thing with using their voice. And that when you're just going and being in that moment, you're capturing how you felt in that moment, versus like I don't like to have to try to do the same verse too many tries, because I feel like after a while it's like that initial feeling I felt when I was either writing the verse or first trying to do it is like pretty much gone now. So even if there's a part where I mess up, it's like we mess up in life. Like the music, like there nobody is perfect. So but people try to make the music perfect, and I get it, because like I said, there's a technical side to music and people want quality, and I get all that. But if you get too stuck on trying to make it perfect, it can take away from the art, I think. And I think there's beauty in just like leaving in the imperfections, because there's nothing perfect in life, like other than like nature and stuff. But that's a topic for a discussion for another topic.
Yeah, no, we'll be doing more of these, bro. We'll definitely be doing more of these.
But yeah, majority of the stuff I've posted is first take, like because I just like to keep it organic, I guess. But I get the perfectionism. I really do. I get it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. To your point, when I first started uploading on SoundCloud, I did tons of one takes, and then like as the perfectionist mindset would set in, I'd be like, oh, I can't. can't even show these to anybody. No
And
one can
that's
hear them.
another thing too is like, sorry to cut you off,
No, you
but is like I caught myself thinking a lot about, okay, the people that I know or used to know, what are they going to think about this? And that influenced a lot of my creative process, because like as I'm sitting there trying to create it, I'm thinking, what are people going to think about this? What are they going to think of me? What are they going to be like, oh, what is he trying to become, a rapper or something? Like, what are you doing? And like having those thoughts is pointless, because it's like what other people think of it is not a reflection of what it is. It's just a reflection of them and their perspective.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, literally.
And you can't, like, people and their perspective is, you can't take it personally or anything. It's just it is what it is. And so I've tried to get away from like those thoughts of, okay, like, what are people gonna think, blah 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 blah, and it's just like, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. As long as you like it and you feel comfortable sharing it with the world, then that's all that really matters at the end of the day, is if you like it. But not if all these other people, what are they gonna think? They're gonna think what they're gonna think. You'll never know if you never put it out. So.
No. To your point, actually, because that was like, and this actually, because Peachtree City is like where I started doing music, like, which is actually really funny. Like the studio though that we went to is where it's closer to where I live at now, in Tucker. But we used to drive from here to there, like just to go to the studio for like an hour. And before that, we were recording like home studios around here, and I found myself like showing music to, like, I used to work at the Waffle House. I think they actually tore it down now, but it was the one right across from like Macintosh. Shout out Macintosh. You know what I'm saying? But it was like people would literally be like, they would just chime in and like, yo, that person on the second verse, and I'd be the person on the second verse. They shouldn't have been on, because once again, long ass verses. They ruined the whole song. They're like, why are you rapping like that, or why do you sound like that, or why are the things that, like, just so much feedback I would just get just being out in the world, even just like freestyling in front of people. Like, and that was the crazy thing. Like, to your point about people's opinions, and I say this at like, even at that, so at the event that I go to, Sophie Cypher, like, it's so crazy. People will be like, wow, you're so amazing, your flow is impeccable, the way you come up with bars, the things that you craft. And I remember the years of people telling me, you're trash, I don't understand what you're talking about, why would you rap like that, what are you doing? Like, it was all their opinion though. And normally these are people who were also artists, or they were also rappers, or sometimes they also had like that thing. And we were all in this space of practicing together. We were all in this, like, even if we weren't making music together, we were in this collective time period, all interested in this particular thing, even if we have other interests that don't meet or intersect anywhere at all. And we're just getting better at it and doing our own thing. But we start to get to this point where we start to like judge each other. And it's like, oh, well, I'm better at you than triplets, and you're better at me than hitting a melody and coming out into like a low note. And it's like, why does that matter? Like, why can't I just like enjoy it? Why couldn't I just put out a project? Why can't I just enjoy the project? Why can't I just do what I want to do, and it doesn't have to be about my technical skill or how much money it makes or the sales, or like, and it's like, it's so easy to lose that. It's so easy to like, to literally start out, because that's why I started out making music. I just literally would be like, yo, this thing makes me feel so good. And I really want to share my interpretation of this feeling with other people, because I feel like there's so many times where just even music that you would hear from like friends who, like, in high school, who like maybe they did keep making music, or maybe they stopped, or they create anything, you just get this feeling like, yo, this is someone I know who created this, and it's just giving me this crazy feeling, and like, I want to go share it with other people. Like,
it's like, you can make music? Like, what? You could, regular people could do that? Like, there's not, you don't have to go to some crazy studio somewhere. Like you could just do it. Like I had no idea, bro. I had no idea until you see other people start doing it, and it's like, oh, you can. Anybody can.
Anybody, and anybody can freestyle. Like that's like, I really feel like anybody, and that was like the whole premise of like this podcast, even like, because freestyling to me is like literally just continually going at something, and you're just trusting it. You know what I mean? Like the trust doesn't mean that like you, in terms of like even putting in a freestyle rap, that you won't lose your train of thought, or that like maybe the bar doesn't come up the way you think it was, maybe there is no bar, like whatever the situation is. It's just the fact that you're enjoying yourself and continuously experiencing this thing, and in that you gain so much from it, and that can be experience, that can be accolades, that can be like compliments and all this other stuff. But it's like also, I go to like those places like that I go to rap just because I really enjoy rapping. I really just enjoy creating stuff. I really enjoy being in a space where other people are just literally here, and whatever they got going on in their life, we all just took out time to be here and literally just do a giant jam sesh, basically.
Yeah.
Like that stuff like that is magical.
Have you seen it? You do it, and like it just looks so like a community, bro. Like, and you be looking like just in the zone, and like you love what you're doing, and it's amazing. And your book about freestyling, like I said, I struggle freestyling, but I feel like after reading your book, there's hope that I too can become a good freestyler.
Oh, yes.
And I would highly recommend anybody who's interested in freestyling to go read that on Amazon. You just freestyle. It was one like super informational, and two super easy to read. Very well written. So yeah, but in that, like you said, it just takes, you have to keep doing it. Yeah, I enjoy watching you do it. That should be, yeah.
Thank you.
It'd be dope, bro. I'd be like, how? Like I was saying before we started, I was just like, I'd be watching him, I just be like, there's no way he's coming up with that right there on the spot. There's no way.
Bro, there's like there's a recent video actually, it was Koss, shout out Koss, on the tables, and he played Lotto's Put It On The Floor, and I was rapping to it, bro, and like the stuff that I was saying, it was just moving through me. Like it was and I literally said in the caption, I felt so free. Like I felt like I was literally just the music. Like I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I wasn't trying to be the best rapper. I wasn't trying to be like it. And because I still have moments even now, like where I'll rap or like I'll do anything, and people be like, wow, that was so amazing. I'm like, really? I thought that was like, man. So it's like even like those ideas of like, or those thoughts that like maybe not are necessarily ours, but we've carried around so long that they feel like ours, of that feeling of like, oh, I'm not good enough still, or I'm not. It's like all of that gets wiped away when you're literally just in that moment of creation. You're like, I'm just creating. And I feel like you live in that place. Like it's really actually refreshing. Like it literally reminded me of that feeling. Like you literally reminded me of that feeling of like, yo, I can create stuff, and I like that's it. I can create. That's it. That's the no, bro. Your stuff is dope. On top of being able to create, like you have the fact that it is dope on top of the feeling that you are creating, but the fact that you just feel like you can create, like it literally reminded me, bro. Like I felt it in my heart, and the whole time I was listening to Summer, if it was Summer 26, we're gonna look up the project name and put a link in the bios, the Discord, all that'll be in there. I just found myself taking it back, bro. I was like, this man is literally just enjoying his life. He's literally just enjoying his life with these songs, and I had not felt that feeling in a while. I literally like have found myself, because I'll get into the business side of it, or I'll allow myself to get stressed out when I think about the business aspects or other perfectionist aspects of the music, and I'll be like, oh, all this or this song or these albums, and literally just to feel like, yo, I created this thing and I just want to share it with people. and I'm not necessarily even looking for their feedback. I already like it. I just want you to know that I made it. Like,
yeah. No, I do want feedback. Like I do appreciate feedback.
Facts.
Either be good or bad. All of it helps just the same. But at that time when I was making it, I was going through a hard time, and it was a way to help me just kind of just deal with everything that was going on and just express myself and have fun. But yeah, I really appreciate it. Like you even taking the time to listen to it. Like anybody who's ever listened or ever will listen, I just appreciate it because it's like time is valuable. So whenever I know somebody spent the time to watch or listen to something that I created, I just be feeling super just grateful and appreciative. But yeah,
No.
so I appreciate you.
Already.
Yeah.
Already. No.
Yeah.
Already. No, I feel that. I feel that exact moment like that. It is. It's really something magical to know that someone took some time in their life to be like, hey, I'd like to like experience what it is that you created, and it's always even if they're like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, no, I appreciate you for still like I literally always still say thank you. I'm like, good or bad, thank you for taking the time to actually experience this thing I created because that's so wild. Do you? Because I'm thinking about like that feeling, and I'm thinking about that feeling of like, have you ever had that feeling of like when you've been, because you said that within creating the music and how that would influence your creative process of like when you started realizing that the thoughts of, or you were experiencing thoughts of how these people feel about this or like what would they think about this. When you find yourself creating now, what are the thoughts in your head? Like what are you thinking about?
Whatever it is that I'm going through at that time, I've been thinking about that a lot. Either that or where I want to be in the future. Like a manifestation type of thing.
Exactly.
Words are powerful, so but yeah, what be going through my head is just what I be going through at the time and what I'm feeling at the time, and if I'm creating on the piano, I try to express what's going on in my mind through the piano and like the mood of the song to try to give an idea of my mood in that moment. And in that moment, as I'm doing it, I'm not really thinking, I'm just playing, just flowing, really, kind of in like a flow state.
Yeah.
So there's not really much thought going on.
No, that's perfect. That's what I wanted to know. Like, if it's like a stream of thought, or if it's more like you're just literally there. Because to your point, when you're talking about the rapping and like that's where I'm at. It's the same place. Like I'm not, and that's what was so. Because that's why I brought up that video though. It wasn't even the list off. The at the end of the video, the lotto put on the floor. If you look at my face after like, and people are like hyping me up and everything. Like if you look at my face, I really look off. And then the thought that was going through my head at that time is, where did that come from? And how do I get back there? Like, how do I just live in that space? Like, that was literally the thought. Because it was like, and granted, right? talking about even manifestation. Have I said that I'd like to be an exceptional rapper? Yes. Have I said I'd like to be an exceptional artist, musician, creator? Yes. These are things that like I plan for to happen, then I put in work too. If you want to look at it from an action standpoint, but I also just thought about what would it be like to be able to like reach people on that level. What would it be like to be able to connect with somebody on that level through this medium or through these things, and then to have experienced that like after, because the thought was so long ago, like and like through for me personally, through so much self doubt and so much it felt like, and then you realize like oh once again even the bad like seemingly the bad criticism actually is very helpful because when someone would be like when they would tell me something like that I would go and research. I was like well how do I be more clear but still say what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
How do I structure that in a way where someone gets what I'm saying but I still do what I want to do, and then how do I still not and that was funny even when the whole perfectionist mindset set in about the music. The one thing I never did lose is like how do I still always sound like me? How do I still always say exactly whatever I want to say? How do I still always get to exactly the thought that I want to do without worrying about if someone's going to get it or not? Because that's actually a place that I got to in music and in the freestyle community. Because people will, and I guess that would be the follow up question. Like, when people listen to my music or when they interpret it or like art or whatever it is I'm doing, they might have some idea about it. They might have like a thought about it, and they'll express that to me. But they might even be like, I don't get it. And it's funny because like being the person that created the thing, I'm like, I completely understand it. I could explain it to you if you want. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But it's like, what is that feeling like of like, just experiencing people's interpretations of the art you create? How does that feel for you? Like, what is that experience normally like? And is it an enjoyable one mostly, or do you just kind of feel like?
To me, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that they even listened in the first place. It's exciting that there is feedback. So, when I send it to somebody and talk to them about it, like I've gotten negative feedback, and I just be like, I get it. Like, why somebody wouldn't get it, and just try not to take it personally, and I still enjoy like the fact that there is feedback. Like it excites me, even if it's bad, and when it's good, it makes me even more excited because I feel like somebody's messing with it. They like it, and yeah, that makes me happy when somebody says they like it. But yeah, overall, excited whenever there's feedback or anything. So it's it's fun. I don't know.
No, that's perfect. That actually makes perfect sense. Because it's like it's that same feeling for me. Like I had this like period of time where, yo, shout out Sasha O'Haron. But my bro Sasha, he used to tell me about like when people would give me feedback negatively because I didn't always take it the best way. I'd be like, I appreciate your opinion, but I'm still gonna do whatever I want to do. And it would be like this feeling like, oh, I have to prove them wrong. But to your point, there really is just an excitement now of like someone literally went and enjoyed and experienced this thing. And I think kind of tying back in, the crazier thought will be like, this was just an idea in my head. Like this was just something that I just wanted to put out. Have you always been comfortable expressing your ideas just in the open world?
Yeah, like ever since MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, and now like Instagram and TikTok and stuff. I've always, and YouTube, like I have a YouTube channel from when I was like 15 years old, and there's still videos on there from that age, like little trick shots of basketball and stuff. And I don't know why, but I've just always felt comfortable just sharing literally whatever it is I'm doing that day, it's like the same. Like whatever it is I'm going through at that time, like literally in that moment, or whatever it is I'm feeling. Like I go back and look at my Facebook memories a lot and just see what I used to post like 10, 12, 13 years ago, and it just be like literally random stuff of what I was doing that day. And that's like the same thing that music is. It's like whenever I'm making a song, it's what I'm going through at that time, and I've just always done that. Even if like there's no audience, like for me, it's like I just mentioned, looking at Facebook memories. It's just something to go back and look at, and I just find it interesting to see a past version of myself. Um, and when I go back and listen to my songs, it's like I'm listening to a past version of myself, like when that song was made that day. I just find it very interesting. Like, I don't know.
No, that makes perfect sense. I feel like, I mean, to your point too, because that's what I was saying like before the interview, like the and not necessarily that you're even doing it for that, but like the self exploration of like finding like, because I do that too. Like, Instagram has the whole archive feature, so I'll even see like, bro, sometimes, and I guess that's like talking about long term habit. I will post. I'll have posted a song or gone to an event or done something on the same day of something a year later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I haven't realized it until I go back to like the actual. It's so cool, kind of like catching yourself in that, and like even like that moment doesn't necessarily in me catching that, like it's not necessarily like a huge revelation other than, oh, I like really going to the studio, or I really like skating or eating ice cream at this spot. But it's just like that moment of like catching yourself having done something, or like knowing that you were here a while ago and that you're back again and didn't even realize it until you like when reminded yourself. The just like I feel like that's really helped me in general, actually, like kind of having, because I actually still have my I still have my notebooks and stuff from like grade school.
Dang.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not like there are tons of them. It's not even like there's a huge amount of actual information even inside the notebook, but I just literally have a snapshot of like what it was, some of the thoughts that were going through my mind, or some of the things that I expressed, and some of it was like my grandfather passed.
You still remember writing in those books at that young age? Like,
yeah.
Sorry, like, go ahead.
No, bro. Ask questions, bro. Like, this is a conversation. That's also, these are conversations, y'all. Like, they say interview series, but they're really like they're conversations. We'll rebrand at some point. We'll rename it something at some point. But you know what I mean? Like, so no, I do. I literally, and that's like,
that's crazy.
It's part of it because I still get like the actual impression of like what it was that like was going on around me, or like what it was. And sometimes it's not like that singular moment. It's like the overall, all the thoughts or everything connected to that experience, which is so interesting. Talking about looking at past versions of yourself, because it's like, it's almost like as if I was getting like a beacon on a game, and it's like, oh, there's something over here. It's not like I'm literally experiencing every single rush of emotion and every thought that I had at that time. It's more like just this collective pulsation of like feeling, or like this knowing of like, oh, there was something connected to this notebook. There was like those feelings, and then it's like I'm still just in the moment, like reminiscing, or maybe like a thought will come up in that. But no, that's like, that's what I really enjoy, and it's funny, like some notebooks, like I like the whole talking about practicing writing left-handed and stuff. Some of those are just like notebooks. I still have the notebooks for my left-handed writing. I still have those where they look terrible. Like, it's like it doesn't make any sense. And then I have it when it starts getting better, and then it starts getting better until the point now where like people have been like, oh, you're left-handed, and I'm like, I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah.
But it's like that was that same thing of self-exploration, like, because I literally remember as a kid talking about writing impression. I used to write with my left hand, but the teachers would be like, you have to pick a hand, and they're like, which hand's your dominant hand? And I was like, and they're like, it's your right hand then, because also, like, in a lot of schools they want you to write right-handed. So but I literally remember being like, yo, I used to write left-handed, and those notebooks reminded me of like, so like I would literally just it was almost like a little loop because I pulled them out. Like it was years before I started writing left-handed again. But it was like that ability to go back and have things from past selves, from things like, and not, I don't have every single item that I've owned as like from my childhood up, but like those, like talking about the keyboard that you have, like those items that like have like a literal anchor in my life, like just give me so much just by being there.
Sentimental
Yeah,
value.
yeah, and like a time capsule, even almost.
Yeah.
Like, and not even in ways that I'm like fully conscious of, but it's like I was gonna go for it. I was gonna go for it, but it's like no, that is a really cool process, and I feel like that actually helps out a lot with just like freestyling and life in general, because you really do kind of just see like what are the things that I do that I don't maybe even know that I do, and then when you become aware of them, it doesn't necessarily mean that like you're changing any of them in the moment. It's just the fact of becoming aware of them. Like, oh, that's when I look at like Facebook posts that I put up, and it's just random, like it makes no sense, or like it does make sense to me, but or it's a terrible joke because I still tell dad jokes. I'm like, oh, that's what I was doing, man.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense that I'm doing this now. Like, you know what I mean? Like even like those moments, or like where I continued on habits. But that's actually also what I did want to talk about. Bro, basketball. Why are you so fine at basketball? Can you please talk about? Can you please talk about and explain?
So, I've put in my 10,000 hours of basketball for sure. Just playing like pickup basketball. And my sister, my older sister, she was really good. She's 4 years older. She used to be like bigger than me when I was really young, and she would always beat me in one-on-one. And so like we're real competitive, and that competitiveness just got me better, and then I grew and eventually was able to beat her, and now she has no chance. But throwing shade. But literally, bro, like I used to walk like a mile to the gym every day, every summer, and play basketball all day, at least like 5 hours, and we just do that every day. And if we had school, like if I wasn't on the basketball team, I was going to the gym after school and playing until it closed. And yeah, just you play so much, it
Like with the whole mastery thing, it's like you're able to quote unquote freestyle.
Yes.
Like
Yes. Yes.
master it in your own way and have your own style and like be able to create your own. That's pretty much like what jazz is. It's like somebody took classical and then varied off of it and created jazz. And like, yeah, once you, I'm not saying I'm a master basketball player by no means. Like, I'm not all that good. But just to stay on the topic of like mastering something and repetition and what it takes to just simply get better at something, it just is doing it over and over and over again for years and years and years. And then once you've done that, you're able to add your own individual, unique style to it. So, yeah, I be hooping. I be hooping, bro.
No, bro, you're fine. I've watched the videos and been like, what the?
I be hooping. But I could if I like actually did the drills and took it serious, because for me it's just fun. But if I actually like did the training and all that, like there's just a lot room for improvement, like quantum leaps that could be taken if you just were to actually train properly the fundamentals every day. But I just like to have fun. Yeah. And it's like that flow state of, let's say, on the piano or you freestyling what just happened. Like I was there, but was just going without having to think about it. That happens on the basketball court too, to where you're not even thinking, you're just going and reacting to each moment, as if like when you're freestyling, you're reacting to the last word you just said.
Yeah.
So on the court, you're reacting to literally every moment of, okay, did he go this way or that way? And when you're in that flow state, it's like you're not even thinking. You're literally just going based off of what's happening, and it's one of the best feelings, like being in that state. I love it. Yeah, I want to go hoop right now.
Yeah. I wish that they had like an open. They still don't have like open gyms. You're like, wait, because that would be so. No, they would make so much money too. I feel like because there's actually a lot of hoopers around here, like a lot of really good hoopers. No, but to your point, have you thought about aspects of what you did in basketball you could apply to your study of freestyle?
Just having your own style, like individual. Everybody could shoot a basketball, but the way they shoot is a little bit different, and everybody could say a bar, but the way they say it is gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, just finding your style or my style and like perfecting that as best you can. I'd say that's where the correlation is.
No, I think that sums it up. Because I like the fact that you talked about flow state like in basketball and flow state in sports. Because I've always been like really into like football, like contact football. And that's another place where I've experienced like several times where I'm running and I'm here in the moment, and it's so nice. And like there also is like the aspect of like playing with people, but it's also just like you're all just literally just like not even. It's great. It really is something magical, and it is very much like making music or like creating something. Are there any projects or anything that you want anyone to know about, or that you'd like people to get prepared for?
Musically, nah, I haven't been writing songs recently. I've been working on writing my first book.
Let's talk about that. Congrats, also.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a due date in mind, but I'm not gonna put it out there yet. But yeah, first book coming soon. So that's where recently a lot of my focus has been, is just writing it. I'd say I'm like halfway right now. And musically though, I've still been trying to put a lot more focus on the piano. So I've been doing like covers of songs on YouTube. Right now I'm working on a Kendrick Lamar song, and that will be out within the next week or two. And there will be more covers like that. Like I've done Fish by Tyler the Creator, Black Queen by Young Dolph, Nightmares of the Bottom by Lil Wayne, Wu-Tang Forever by Drake, It's a Man's World by James Brown, and it's fun trying to learn it, and like it's like a workout for my brain. and trying to rap and play piano at the same time, or sing and play piano at the same time, like, shout out to Alicia Keys and Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles and all of them that could do that, because it is not easy. Like, you have to has to become second. The piano part of it has to become like second nature, to where you're not thinking about what you're playing, to where you could think about the words that you're trying to say and how you're gonna say it. It's like, it's so much going on at once. But I love the challenge, you know. Like, that's why I'm doing it. It's a challenge. So, book coming soon. More YouTube videos coming soon. More basketball videos coming soon.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Where would you like the people to find you?
On Instagram, Johnathan Hall 22 underscore. It's JOHNATHAN Hall 22. On Twitter, Johnathan Hall 24. On YouTube, Johnathan Hall 8. So, Johnathan Hall, either 22, 24, or 8. Yeah.
Bro, thank you so much. This has been Johnathan Hall. This has been another episode of You Just Freestyle. Please look out for that book, dude. I'm gonna be buying that book too.
I appreciate it.
Already, bro. Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Nah, much love, man. Much love. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna edit that part different.
Song one take, that would be crazy. A page and a half. What is it recording? Alright, one take now. You ain't never seen a man like me. Right? Hey, bet you never been with a man like me. With a man like me. Bet you never been with a man like me, nah. Not with a man like me. Bet you never been with a man like me. With a man like me. Bet you never been with a man like me, nah. With a man like me. Hey, bet you never been with a man like me. With Puma sandals on my feet. I can make a hoe wanna be wifey. Can make a model get on her knees. Can make the money flip while I'm in my sleep. Got a few tricks right up my sleeve. Baby, we can kick it like jelly. In my Civic going 90. Got the windows cracked so we can feel the breeze. Rubbing on her back while she sucking me. I can never lack out in these streets. I just black out on these beats. Got the Mac out, yeah, on the keys. Blow her back out, she needs surgery. Can make an atheist say OMG. Pissing out excellence when I pee. Cashing out hella checks, living comfy. I dotted my I's and I crossed my T's. I got the good D, ain't no crossing me. Every day I wake up and I flush my teeth. Every day I bake up, I'm preheating. Not too much makeup on my queen. Gotta load the bank up if you're on my team. Eyes always red, I don't use Visine. Numbers in my head, I'm calculating. Before I'm dead, I'ma reach my dreams. Yeah. Before I'm dead, I'ma reach my dreams. Yeah. Hey. Bring the horns in. Bring the horns in, walked up in my Pumas, pulled off in a foreign, fame coming sooner, few years I'll be touring, few years I'll be touring, hey, riding high and I'm soaring, hey, got the Duce and it's pouring, yeah. 9 to 5 life, man, that shit is very boring. Yeah. Walked up in my Pumas. Pulled off in a Ford. Ain't never met a man like me. Never met a man like me. Never met a man like me. Nah. Never met a man like me. 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 Yeah, never met a man like me. Yeah, never met a man like me. Yeah, never met a man like me. Never met a man like me.
met a man like me. Could never, ever, never meet a man like me. Could never, ever, never meet a man like me. Could never, ever, 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 ever meet a man like me. Could never meet a man like he. Yeah. Hot boy John Nee. Could never meet a man like me. Egyptian, the way I go down the river. 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 Every moment I rebirth. It doesn't mean I'm happy with my form or understand my worth. I don't mean wrapped up in nets and grosses and commas. I mean the one I might have felt when I first experienced the world. So Egyptians, the way I flow down the river. Time is an arrow and Artemis's quiver. Egyptian, the way I flow down the river. Sometimes it's Ra or Apollo that delivers me back to where I started. So many loved ones dearly departed, and here I am floating down the river like Helen, so lazily I stand and shiver. Egyptian, the way I flow down the river. So many analogies to water I quiver. Egyptian, the way I flow down the river. Oh, so many relations I quiver. Egyptian, 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 Egyptian. Flow down the river.